DJ, owner of OCD Performance and Off-Road in Pacific, Missouri. We just got a shipment in of DCR pumps from S&S Diesel. So we're going to go ahead and unbox one of these and show you guys what's inside. Per usual, with S&S Diesel, everything is packaged super nice. Nothing's bouncing around in the box. Looks like this here is the pump. There's your pump. Two high pressure lines here, capped on both ends. This will be your return and low pressure into your high pressure pump. Be a high pressure line bracket. Hold these in place down in the valley. This will be your adapter plate that will bolt onto the block with two countersink bolts, which are right here. And then these two studs will go through the new pump to adapt it to the 6.7 block. This would be an adapter for a few of the different years, different sensors that go on these low pressure feed line. And then this here is a plug. On some applications you won't need both of these ports, so you will plug it. And this is just a plastic clip for your return and feed line. And there it is. So we're going to go ahead and get this installed on this truck, and we'll have a video of that as well. All right, first we're going to get our upper intake off, our lower intake off, our air box, and our cold side intercooler tube, which we already have off. All right, so we have our upper intake manifold, our lower intake manifold, our air box tube here, our cold side intercooler pipe is all off. Now we're going to go after our clutch fan idler pulley bracket. This does have a bracket over here that bolts to the side. That is for the wiring for your clutch fan. You want to note the orientation of that, because if you put it up here, it's going to interfere with your belt. So you do want to make sure it is marked, but just make sure you pay attention to where that's at. Alright, we have the clutch fan idler pulley bracket out of the way. We just took it loose, let it hang down there. Now we're going to take this vacuum pump off, which is these 8 mils right here. I believe you have 1, 2, there's another one over here, and then I think there's 2 more on the bottom. Alright, now we want to, we'll unplug our FCA. Pull this 8mm bolt out. That will release your return and your feed line to your pump. We'll want to take that nut off there, which is a high pressure line, goes to the driver's side rail, and also this nut here, which does the same, goes to the driver's side rail. We'll take all of those lines off, and then you have some nuts down here, or bolts down here rather, to get this bracket loose for this high pressure line bracket, and then we'll be about ready to get our pump out. Alright, you will want to make sure when you're taking your pump off that you line your timing gears up here. You'll have 2 marks on one gear, 1 mark on the other gear. The 1 mark on the one gear should be in between the 2 marks. So you will want to make sure those are lined up. This notch should be like the 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock. There's a notch on the top side of this gear as well. On one side of that gear will be your timing marks. Make sure to line it up with the cam gear marks. Before you pull it, it'll make it easier on the installation so you don't have to figure out which mark, because there is marks on both sides of that cam gear. One for the crank, one for the injection pump. So now we're going to go ahead and take the 3 bolts loose that are on the back of the injection pump. So those are the 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock position there on the back of that pump. You can see there, and those should be 13mm. So right there, there, and right there. Alright, now you're going to want to get this bolt and this bolt out with a 1/4 inch drive, 15mm swivel like this. And be careful not to drop them down in the timing gear cover, because that would not be good. Alright, so these are the bolts that come out of your timing gear cover. They go through the block, hold the injection pump on. They're threaded here. This is a bigger size thread than what this is. To get these out, you actually got to cock it at an angle like this once they're busted loose, and kind of thread them out. Thread them out because they're touching against the inside of this housing here. So you got to kind of keep threading them out to get it to come all the way out. But they will come out. Alright, so we got the pump out. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean this surface. That's where your adapter plate for your new pump will mount. It isn't a sealing surface because the pump seals with an O-ring inside this bore, but you still don't want any of this crud in between your adapter plate and your pump. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that off before we bolt the new pump on. Alright, here's our adapter plate. This is our engine. The plate is going to go like this. These countersink bolts are going to hold this to the block. So we're going to want to put blue Loctite on the thread, some kind of lubricant on the taper here so that it doesn't interfere with torquing it down. And then we're also going to want to put some blue Loctite on the short side of our stud, as that's going to thread into our plate. Both of these studs. All right.